Good morning and welcome to our Facebook Live this morning. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you for joining me. It's Monday the 27th of February, which means it's 2 days left of our Sale-a-Bration promotion for this year. So this is the only time of the year that we have Sale-a-Bration this year. Last year we had it in the late summer as well, but this is the only one this year. So you have today and tomorrow to take advantage of the free items that you can get for placing an order, and also a really good deal if you want to join our Stampin' Up team. The brochure looks like this. You can download it from my website. If you go to jeminicrafts.co.uk and look on the right hand side, you can see a link to download the brochure or view it on screen. You don't have to actually physically download it, you can view it on screen. And I featured the majority of these products right the way through since the beginning of January, so you can look back through those. I hardly touched on the day at the farm, so maybe I will do that tomorrow. And we've used these lovely papers, and we've done in the country. We did some watercolouring with that. And today I'm going to use Beautifully Happy, because I haven't used that. I haven't even inked it up. How appalling is that? So I thought it was about time I did it. And I'm just going to use two different methods of colouring to show you. So this stamp set is free with an order over £90. It's a two-step stamp set and there's 17 stamps altogether. Some really nice, small sentiments. These are perfect if you need to make some small cards. And the sentiments include for a feeling better kind of day, sending happy thoughts, for a very happy birthday, kindness matters, a little thank you, and you're easy to love. The main element of this stamp set is obviously this set of flowers here. There's an outline, and then there's three separate stamps for colouring in. There's the leaves, the central flowers, and then the buds at the top. There's also a smaller flower here, and there's a tiny little bee, and these work together. Oh, that's it. And there's a little set of small dotty stamps, always really useful for covering up any blemishes or making it give a look of some sort of movement on your card. So I'm going to be using this set, and I'm going to show you two ways to stamp and colour, and I'd love to know which you prefer for the finished result. So on one of them I'm going to use our Blends alcohol markers, and I'm using Granny Apple Green and Polished Pink. And then for the other one I'm going to stamp the infill and use Granny Apple Green and Polished Pink. So I'm going to use the same colours, and then you can decide which you prefer. I'm going to be using our die cuts that I've cut from the Scallop Contours dies. That's in the annual catalogue, and I just think it's really pretty, and I think it will suit this shape nicely. I'm hoping it's going to fit. just about going to fit. So I've got a spare piece of card that I'm going to use just to stamp these out first, and I'm going to use Early Espresso as my outline ink. So I hope everybody is well. I can see a few people have joined. Let me just catch up with you. It's lovely to have you join us on a Monday morning. If you're watching live, do say hi, let me know that you're here. So hi to Kerry, good evening to you. Brenda, Scylla, Jeanette, and Lynn, and anybody else, and Catherine, anybody else who's watching, good morning to you. And if you're watching on catch up or replay, whether that's here on Facebook or on YouTube, then if you have any queries or questions, just pop those in the comments section and I will get back to you. Right, I do need a block, however. For my stamp. I've prepared everything else but not a block. It's not really a lot of good, is it? So I hope you've all had a nice weekend. As you can hear, my cold has definitely improved. So just the remnants of it, hopefully. So here is the outline stamp. So I'm just going to stamp it onto my spare piece of card here because it's the first time I've used the stamp. And I want to condition it, if you like, and also see how the infill stamp goes, so I get an idea before I put it to my card. And I do always recommend, when you get a new stamp set, is that you ink all of the stamps up and give them a go. Not only does that condition the stamps, it also allows you to check that there's no faults on the stamp. Occasionally I've had a stamp that hasn't stamped cleanly. This does happen very occasionally, so it's good to find that out sooner rather than later. Okay, it's a nice crisp image, as you can see there. I'll leave that on the block ready, and let's find the infills. So we've got a set of leaves here. We're going to fill those in there, and then we've got this one here that's going to fill in the main flowers, and then it is a big stamp. It's very deceptive because on the cover it's only 85% of the finished item, which is why I thought, oh, that will easily fit on a note card. And I forgot, of course, that it can be much larger in real life. Okay, and then this one. Aha, so there's a tiny little piece there. So this could be a different colour because it's the tiny little buds here, and also the bottom of this. So this could be a green, maybe a stamped off green. So that's very clever. I didn't expect it to do that one. Okay, so that's 3 main elements for colouring those in. So let's have a go with those. So I'm going to use, as I said, polished pink. And luckily these will fit on standard size blocks. And I do like the sentiments, and I like the style of the sentiments as well. Okay, so let's do this set of flowers first. Just pop that one on there. So I'm going to ink this up. So this is polished pink. And I'm just going to stamp it separately to start with, and all of the shading is done in the stamp. You can see that. So now I'm going to pop that on there. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm just bringing it down towards me, so sorry if it's a little bit out of your sight, as it were. Okay, so there's that element. Hopefully you can see that all right. And then let's do the leaves. So I've got Granny Apple Green. So I think what I'm going to do is do the leaves in full strength Granny Apple Green, and then these buds in stamped off Granny Apple Green, so it's slightly lighter. So remember, this is the first time I'm inking these stamps up, I'm hoping it's going to fit on there somewhere. I can do it on the other side. Oh, look! Best laid plans. It's an envelope. And you know why that is? I cut a piece of card ready, and then I put my cards and envelopes on top, and I picked up the envelope. Oh well, it stamps fine. Oh dear. Catherine says she thinks blends would be favourite. I suppose, yeah, it depends on the look, and also I think it depends on how much time you've got, because this is you know, just one stamp and you're filling all of those in one go. And you could of course do a combination. You could stamp this and then go back over with blends. I'm glad you're all laughing. A lady asked me on Friday at Coffee and Card if I ever made any mistakes. So, Caroline, this is for you. So I know she does watch these on catch up. So yes, I do, is the answer. Okay, so these are the little buds. So I've stamped them. I'm going to stamp them off again and then pop them on here. There we go. So I think if you've got a nice deep outline, it makes it much easier to do your infill. If you had a very pale outline, it would be more difficult to find the exact position. So that's not exact. If I look really closely, it's very slightly off, but I don't think it shows. It doesn't give the impression of it being, you know, not exactly 100% accurate. Okay, so now we know that all works. Let's stamp it on our actual piece of card. So I've got my outline and early espresso. It's difficult, isn't it? And I think also depends on how confident you are with colouring with blends. But what I do think is, because it's each of the flowers is a relatively small space, I think it would be quite easy to colour in with blends. I'm not sure if I want it at an angle or not. Because of its stalk, it's either got to go. I'm going to try it at an angle and see. If it was my garden, it would all be leaning over anyway, I'm sure. Okay, so while I'm here, I'm going to stamp both of the outlines. This all gives me a little space as well for my sentiment. Yes, I know what you mean about it not being an exact fit. Sometimes it's fine. Sometimes something I do it as if it's a deliberate effect of not fitting, and yeah, sometimes I don't like that. I know exactly what you mean, Catherine. You haven't seen my garden, Catherine. Catherine says, my garden wouldn't even grow that much. Well, I moved into this house when it was first built 24 years ago, and all it had in the back garden and the front garden was turf. 24 years later, all I have in my back garden is turf. Hey ho. And a workshop. I do have a workshop, not mine, my daughter's partner. Right, now I'm looking for, let's use this. So I'm going to put one to the side so I don't mess anything up. Ink up the leaves. So this is Granny Apple Green. and just looking straight through, just taking time to get it fairly straight. So there's that one. Let's do polished pink for the flowers. Thanks, Jeanette, nice to see you. Well, nice to have you join us. I can't see you, of course. Okay, so this one next. It really doesn't matter what order you do these either. So there's that one, like so. And I've realised there's a hole in the middle and there is a tiny little stamp, which is this one. No, it's not. It's this one here on its own, and that does the centre. Right, and then I want my items there, so I'm just going to stamp this off first. Only because I want it lighter, just as a bit of contrast. You could do this in a different green, of course. And there we go. So there's our stamped version, like that. Let's pop a sentiment on there while we're there. I think for a feeling better kind of day would be quite nice if it will fit. No, it doesn't. I've got a little thank you. That would work. Okay, I'm just going to pop that in. I think it would work as an outline colouring as well, you're right. And I'm pretty sure I have seen that done. So you use it for no line watercolouring, use a very, very pale ink and then you colour it in and then you lose the outline so it looks like you've watercoloured from scratch. So it's my little thank you. I'm going to pop that on the other one while I'm here. There we go. Okay, so that one's done. I wonder if I might just add a few of those dots in polished pink, just because they're there. What I'm looking at that for. It's not in there. Here. So okay, right, I'm going to put that to one side just in case I drop anything on it, and let's do the blends version. Like so I've got polished pink and granny apple green, and you could use the detail on here so you can see where the centre is darker and on the inside of this flower, so you could use that for inspiration. And I also will just colour in the centre with maybe a yellow or a deep red or something. So I've got this coming out from the middle. So this is my dark polished pink. Here, a bit on there. And then I'm going to use my light polished pink, hoping that's in view for you. And you can leave some white space, or you can fill it right the way through. It's entirely up to you. And also you could watercolour this. You could use inks. You could use watercolour pencils. So there's lots of different variations that you could do. So as you can see, this is going to take just a little bit longer because you're colouring individual flowers rather than just doing all of them in one stamp. But it's interesting to see the difference. Obviously this is more solid because it hasn't got the detail of the stamp. Okay, like so. So I'm just leaving a little bit around the edges, like so, and then I'm just going to use the light on here. And oh yes, those were all green apart from, no, I think that's it, isn't it? Okay. And then I've got granny apple greens. I've got light and dark. This is obviously a new one. So just adding the dark in where the veins are. So, and here. And then taking the light one. It's pretty, isn't it, Kerry? It would make a nice set of cards that you could make, especially if you were stamping. You could do these in different colours. You could do, you know, some pinks, some purples, some yellows, and make a complete set to give to somebody. And you can have a different message on each. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 different messages. So you could do a birthday, a thank you, and a feeling better soon. And also, you don't have to use this whole image. You could stamp part of it this way, and then you've got more space for your sentiment. So I'm just using my light granny apple green pen. This one's a bit older. You can hear it on the paper. Yes, they'd be nice for a gift, wouldn't they? And then we are going to stamp the envelopes, of course. And then you could just literally pop them in a little bag, or just wrap them with some pretty matching ribbon. And because this is a small note card size, it would be lovely for somebody, you know, you could send them to somebody in hospital, especially if they're long term, so that they could send out cards. If you could include the stamps with them so that they're all ready to go. Okay, so I want this one here. There is a little flower on the end. So just adding these little buds in. Here. And here. Oh, and here. Like so. This little chap. Oh, that one. Is it? Okay. Okay, I think I'm just going to put a little yellow centre in there. Like so. And I know I should use the stamp, but sometimes life is too short. There we go. I am going to add those little dots because I think they're very sweet. And we do always like little useful dots for covering up any extra items that I've got onto our card. Like so. Okay, so those are our two. So I like both of them. I'm not sure which one I prefer. I think I prefer the blended one with the blends, but to be honest, there's not a great deal in it. And if I didn't have time, I would definitely do this one. And as I said, what you can do is you can combine blends with the stamp version. So there's nothing to stop you adding that in to give a little bit more detail. Yes, I always think, yeah, boxes with a box with a set of cards in. And the craft cards that we have come with a box, so that would make it even easier. So if you wanted to, you could fill in with this. You could also fill in a little bit with the Stampin' Write markers. You could also do a combination. So you could do the flowers with the Blends pens and stamp the leaves if you wanted to. Okay, so let's pop these together. So I have got two different layers. There's my piece of paper I should have been stamping on. So I've got polished pink and I've got granny apple. So maybe I'll do one in each. And those are going to go onto note cards. And I'm just going to stamp the smaller flower on the inside of the cards and also on the envelope. So I've used one envelope already. Luckily, I always have plenty of envelopes. So let's just pop this on here. Actually, what I'm going to do is use the very top half of the stamp, if I can see it. There it is. On there. And then I'm going to stamp the smaller flower on the inside. Just put these to one side for 1 minute. Grab that. Like so, on the envelope, so you can colour that in. And then for the inside of the cards, I'm going to stamp this single flower here. Oh, keep going for that. And so the single flower works in the same way. I can find my sheet of stamps. There. There we go. So I'm looking forward to coffee and card this afternoon in Toaster, and then coffee and card again in Brackley tomorrow. So I've got that single flower on there and there. And again, you can use the stamps to colour them in. So I would in this case, because if I use a blends pen to colour this in, it's going to go through potentially onto the back. So we have the flower and then the two little elements underneath. So let's do that. And if you wanted to do a really quick note card, you could literally stamp the flower straight onto our note card and use the stamps to colour it in, and then it would all be one layer, so it'd be even quicker. Whereas I wouldn't use the blends for that, because the blends would come through the card. So something else to consider. Oh, thank you, Brenda. Right, so here is our polished pink, and I should really stamp that off first. That's pretty in its own right, actually. Okay, and these tiny little ones I'll do in green. Oh, I should have done both at the same time. You can tell my coffee's calling, can't you? There we go. Same with this one. There we are. How are we doing for time? Hopefully. This is very similar, whichever way you stamp it, but there is a right and a wrong way. Okay, just going to use, oh no, I don't want to use a yellow pen for the middle. I'll use a Stampin' Right marker for that. So those are our two inside cards. Let's tuck these away like so. And we can just layer these up. So I hope you like it. It's a very sweet set. Really sweet, and we won't see this one again. There we go. Crease both sides. That's going to pop that on there. I'm just going to keep these flat as they're note cards, but you could easily pop these up on dimensionals if you wish. So just putting that central and that one on there. So this was the stamped version. There we go, there's one. Make sure I've got that the right way round. Always important, and know that you're not sticking it to an envelope. He's done that. I think we all have at some point. The main thing is the majority of things can be resolved. There we go. There we go. So there's our two cards. So the one on the right is with the blends pens, the one on the left is with the inks. I might go back and add a little bit more blending here, and that's fine because I've got two layers, so it's not going to go through all of that. and then I've got the little flower on the inside, and then I've got the stamped envelope, which you could either leave as is, or while I'm having my coffee I might just fit and colour that in, and I'll stamp the other one ready, as I used it for my sample. Very pretty. These are really nice actually on their own as well, so I think you could do, you know, quite a lot with those. You could also cut those bits off if you wanted to and separate the stamps. So there we go, that's all done for today. Just a little bit over my normal time of 10:30, but hopefully you have enjoyed the session. So let me just read out what Kerry was saying. She's making a card today, had the fun fold done with the DSP. After she added the flowers and leaves, everything else on the card, she had the fun fold base upside down. Yeah, I definitely decorated that envelope, didn't I? If it had been the other way around, I could have left it, you know, and just put an address on it. Oh, bless you. Oh dear, Kerry. Yeah, we've definitely all done something like that. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon or evening, depending on when and where you're watching. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're on Facebook, we've noticed that the Facebook notifications seem to have stopped working, so you may need to go to my Gemini Crafts page and click on notifications to make sure you get notified that I am going live. And I've noticed that I don't get notifications of other people going live, so it's nice to know it's not just me. But if you do want to see more of me and be notified when I'm live, then click that notification button and the bell. And my live times are pinned at the top of my post anyway on Gemini Crafts, so we'll be back here tomorrow, Tuesday at 7 PM. I might slot another one in. It's our very last day of celebration, so I might add another one in the morning. Thank you so much, everyone. Do take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.